Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the day, and today the MLB World Series begins in Toronto. The Dodgers and the Blue Jays will play. I'm really excited for this series. I really am. I believe this should be a really good series. We'll see if the Dodgers go back to back or the Toronto Blue Jays are able to win for the first time in 30 years. So it's going to be a good series. I think the Dodgers are on their side. That's the team with the better pitching talent, and I think that's what's going to be hard for the Blue Jays to face in this series, with facing pitchers like Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow. I just believe the pitching on the Dodgers side is at more strength than what the Toronto Blue Jays have. But looking at the Toronto Blue Jays bats, I think that's what's going to be a hard task for the Dodgers pitching, and that's where they're more talented than the Los Angeles Dodgers. Good thing is Bo Bichette's going to be back. He's going to be on the 26-man roster for the Blue Jays during this World Series. He's not been in the entire playoffs so far. The Blue Jays have made it this far with one of their best hitters, so if he can get going, that will be great for them. They've got Vladdy, they've got Springer, who's been great all postseason. So many other guys at the plate have stepped up and done such a good job for the Blue Jays this postseason. Dalton Varsho at times has been big throughout these playoffs, and just guys like Alondro Kirk. You just keep going on the list of guys who've just played really well for this Blue Jays team. Lukes has been really good, and Clement, Barger, everybody throughout this lineup, in the postseason has Jimenez at the 9 spots batting .263 in these playoffs. So the Blue Jays offense has been one of the best to end this postseason, and that's going to be a hard task for this Dodgers offense. Sorry, for this Dodgers pitching. I believe that this is going to be the hardest task that they have faced, but at the same time, it is a hard pitching matchup for these Blue Jays hitters facing Snell and Yamamoto in Game 1 and Game 2 at home. Now, if you can get through these 2 games and at least get 1, or, maybe even get 2, which would be crazy for this Blue Jays team to win 2 games against Snell and Yamamoto. If they can do that, I think the Blue Jays are going to be able to win this series and have success in this series. That is something we will have to see what happens, because those 2 guys, those 2 pitchers, Blake Snell and Yamamoto, are 2 really, really good pitchers. But I think this is going to be a really good series, and honestly, I hate myself for saying this. I am rooting for the Blue Jays. I hate to root for the team that's not American, but I just like the Dodgers. I don't want to see the Dodgers win back-to-back World Series, and it's not good. They've spent over $1 billion on their team to be a good team, and they want to keep spending. They're already looking at Kyle Tucker in the offseason. They don't need Kyle Tucker, right? This is a team that has Shohei Ohtani. They have Mookie Betts. They have Freddie Freeman, of those 3 guys offensively, and other really good hitters on their team. And then on the pitching side, they have Blake Snell, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto. They have so many weapons. This is such a good team. I'm not saying they're not. I think this is a really good team, and they're a fun team to watch. But they don't need any more. They're in the World Series again. They were World Series champs last year, and there's already talks about bringing in Kyle Tucker, a guy who should be a $400 to $500 million guy. It's just annoying to watch. I'm sorry. If it was any other team in the National League, I'd be rooting for that team over the Toronto Blue Jays. Any other team in the National League, I'm rooting for the American team and not rooting for the Blue Jays. But I just don't want to root for. And on the other end, I really love Tommy Edman for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm a big fan of him because my cousin is his agent, believe it or not. And so I did root for the Dodgers in last year's World Series because of Tommy Edman, wanting to see him win a World Series, and also because I hated the Yankees as well. So more than I did the Dodgers. So I rooted for the Dodgers and rooted for Edman, and I wouldn't mind to see Edman win it again. But it's just I'm afraid that the MLB is going to go into a lockout. Because the owners want a salary cap, the players don't want it, and I think it could cause some issues. But Yeah, we will see. I think it's going to be a fun World Series, though. Even though I'm rooting for the Blue Jays and I don't want to see the Dodgers win, I think the Dodgers win. I think all around, who has the better team, right? Because I go over the fact I think the Blue Jays have the better hitters, but I think the Dodgers have the better pitching group. I think the pitching is what's going to matter at the end of the day, and I think the Dodgers win this series. But I expect the Blue Jays to put up a fight, and I've got the Dodgers winning this series in 6 games. You guys let me know your thoughts on this series in the comments, and peace out.